Dear friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be diving into another interesting machine on the VulnHub, which is Library 2. The link will be put in the video below so that you can download it and play it on your own. From my point of view, this machine is not so easy. We need to exploit FTP service, but also we need to try to find some ways to bypass filters adopted by the machine. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. You're greatly appreciated. So now we can head over to Linux VM to begin with. First of all, we need to discover the IP address of the target machine. The utility I'd like to use, as always, would be netdiscover. As you can see over here, the IP address of the target machine could be recognized as 139. So what shall we do next? We need to perform port and surface scanning to identify open ports and surface running on the target machine. The utility, of course, without any doubt, would be the Nmap. To save time of this video, I've already done that before, so now we can get out its result. As you can see over here, I took the options like scene scan, the version scan, default script scan, followed by the full range port scan. The last option for all is ON to output the result into this file. Then we can retrieve scanning results whenever, just as what I'm doing now. From the Nmap scanning results, we can tell the target machine has two open ports. The first one, 21. The surface is FTP or File Transfer Protocol. And also we can get the version information, including the version number. The second one is 80. The surface or protocol is HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And also we can get its exact version information. And with the SC or default script scanning option, we can tell this side is default Apache 2 page. In other words, we need to do more enumeration for this web application. But before we go there, I'd like to check whether this version is vulnerable or not. So the utility is search exploit. Alternatively, we can use Google or use the exploit database portal to search its exploit. Although we have got one exploit, but this one falls into category of remote denial of service, which is not what we want at this moment. So now it's time to enumerate web application both manually and automatically. Let's fire up the browser to perform manual enumeration first. We can put the IP address of the target machine into the address bar. Press enter. So this is the just I set. The site is default Apache 2. And now we can check to see whether this site has robots file or not. Oh, no bots, not found. Next, we can launch Nikto. Nikto is web application scanner or automatic web application scanner. It can gather information about the web application from various aspects, such as the banner, the request header, allowed HTTP methods. Also, Nikto can enumerate or discover some common files and directories, like this one. Of course, this one is of no use to us from the perspective of penetration. So now I'd like to launch Gobuster to perform directory enumeration. Although you can choose other types of directory enumeration tools like DearBuster, like DearSearch, but personally, I prefer Gobuster. Although sometimes we need to combine different utilities, and also we need to try different word lists. Okay. Without too much time, Gobuster has already discovered this file we can copy and access through the browser. So library homepage, welcome to the library. So Netherlands, we couldn't find any information for Netherlands. England, please try again. So nothing here, right? And also we can check its source code. Sometimes source code can reveal something sensitive. So what it's about, we can copy and put in here. Let's go back. From the address, we can guess possibly, this parameter country has file inclusion vulnerability. Let's test it out. We can copy this address and let me use command line to perform such testing. And we can try to access password file. We couldn't find any information for this one. And also we can put some pass traversal thing, okay? Press enter. We still get the same result. So in other words, the application doesn't have file inclusion vulnerability. A bit weird, right? So now we can check to see whether, this parameter or this application is vulnerable to SQL injection. And to test it, we can launch SQLMap to perform automatic testing. Okay, let me use SQLMap. We can use the -u option to specify the URL. We can press enter. However, it failed to discover SQL injection vulnerability. As a matter of fact, for this machine, we should notice the hint left by author. Otherwise, we will be getting lost. We have no way to go. And as you can see over here, hint is PHP request. Request is the variable are provided to the script via different method or different channel like get, post. Just now, we are submitting country name through get method. So how about we change it to post method? Okay, so how to do? We can combine, SQLMap with BurpSuite. Let me show you in action. And let me be, I can launch another version of Firefox because this Firefox has Foxy Proxy plugin installed. So now I think we can enable BurpSuite, and then we can launch BurpSuite Community Edition. Next, start. Proxy, we can turn on intercept option. So now we can refresh this page. Oh, we need to forward. Let's refresh it again. What's going on? What's going on here? Press it. Why? Forward or job? Job. Then we. Very interesting. What's wrong with my Firefox? Okay. Forward, forward. Sorry about this. Disable. And enable it again. Forward. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with my BurpSuite or maybe Firefox? Forward. Request to Firefox. Why? I have to pause the video because I don't want to waste your time. Finally, I have already intercepted this request because I'm going to change a method from get to post. So how to do it? Let me show you. And we can change method to post. Apply changes. And of course, we need to remove it from the address. And also we need to add request body, country, and we can put anything, England, right? Or Norway, England, country, add. And we can save this request to, or copy this request to file. And you can use any name. And then we can launch the SQLMap with R option and specify the level to 3. Now we can hit enter. And as you can see, because the SQLMap has cache, so this time this is done very quickly. The backend has been identified as MySQL. So next, we can try to enumerate databases on the target machine. And the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 databases in total. This one is the one what we want to enumerate further. Library and tables. And there are 2 tables. And access, yes, very interesting. We can dump this table. Access, dump. And we find FTP credentials, username and password. So it's very clear message, right? We can FTP to the target machine and we can copy this username and also we can copy his password as well. And we can run ls command Apparently, we are within the www directory. So now we can HTML cd to HTML directory. So what are we going to do next? Because SSH service is not running, right? So how to next? We can try to upload web shell file to the target machine. And then by accessing this uploaded web shell, we can get initial foothold on the target machine. So how to do? I've already got this web shell file ready. You can, oh, sorry, I think, let me start from scratch. Let me copy from my two sets directory. And I need to modify the IP address of the Kali Linux. And if you want, if you wish, you also can change port number. So now I think we can set up the listener on the Kali Linux, waiting for collection from the target. But before we do that, we need to use a put command to upload. Unfortunately, we got this error, permission denied. Very often, if we saw such kind of error, we will go, somewhere else, to find some other vectors. But if you do that this way, you will be wrong. Actually, there is some kind of filter in place on the machine, and our job is to bypass such a filter. So how to do? And the one of very important and common ways is to change extension. Okay, like shell, PHP, and also like this one, shell, PHTML. You can use Google to make some research, and maybe I remember, one Git repository has very good resource which can provide us with so many different ways to bypass, the filter. Okay, and we can try this one first. We can put shell, but before do that, very interesting thing will happen. For example, of course, we need to change mode. Okay, so the executable. So now we can use the put command to upload PHP. Although just now we have already make it executable for all users, but now the permission has been changed. So how to do? No problem. We can change mode. 777 shell. Let's run it again. Now, this file is executable for all guys. So now we can access. Maybe I can close up this BurpSuite and access this uploaded web shell. Shell PHP. Press enter. Wonderful. We have already got a collection from the target machine. And next we can spawn an interactive shell by Python. Python 2 is available. And then we can import pty module and execute this method. It's better. And also, if you want, we can define environment variable term. Okay, so then we can clear screen whenever, right? To get a bigger space on the window. And next, we need to gather information to, to elevate privilege or make lateral movement globals. Nothing here. Go to library. A lot of directories. Let's go inside the desktop. Nothing at all. Let's go to downloads directory, nothing as well. Go to var, go to backups. Nothing here. So what can we do next? We can upload one wonderful script, NmPEAS shell script, to the target machine, because I'm going to use this script to perform automatic enumeration. And of course, we need to upload this script first. And the easiest way for me is to set up a web server on the Kali Linux. And then we can use wget, not here, to upload NmPEAS. And also we need to make it executable. And we can run it to see what we can get. In most circumstances, when we try to make lateral movement or make privilege escalation, we should make use of this script to perform automatic enumeration, because it can gather information about the machine very comprehensively. For example, will present us the binaries which have a SUID bit, and then of course, not all binaries which have SUID bit is suspicious or is exploitable. You can go to website of GTF opens to check. Okay, this is based on experience. Why I said that, because one of my friend asked me about this. Okay, it's done. Let's scroll up to see what we can get. Mails and very interesting permission settings. This file is, everyone has all permissions to this file. So maybe later we need to check it out. But before we get there, I'd like to check if we can find some sort of low-hanging fruit. Processes, active ports, cron jobs, processes, some local exploits. But of course, in this video, I'm not going to take it to, to exploit or elevate privilege. So maybe now we can get out this file to see what it's about, because it's very suspicious. Even we find a password for the root user, so easy, so simple. And we can switch our shell to root by using this password. We can copy. And it does work. Fantastic. So I think it's unnecessary to grab the flag. Okay. So I think that's pretty much it for this video. I'd like to see you next. Bye. Have a good day.